naming rules. Look at that. Someone asked that we cannot use hyphen. Yes, they were right, of course. And look at that. These are the rules, right? So variable names should start with a letter, a dollar, or underscore. These are the three officially allowed letter to start with, right? To start with, we can use only them. Can contain numbers. It can contain numbers or anything. They are case sensitive. JavaScript also understands that small a and capital A are different. So if you define age with small a and age with capital A, it will say two variables, not of one variable, right? And then use camel case. Remember, we have talked about camel case, Pascal case, and then those other cases. So look at that. Let first name, this is camel case. Let user age, it's camel case. Is active, camel case. Background, so background color, it's also camel case. So whenever there are three words, so background is one word, that by the way. So when there are three words, you always make the first capital letter, right, in that one. So let one name can't start with number. Let user dash age, no hyphens in JavaScript, they're not allowed again. But I've shown you that even like there is a language that strictly follow that dash syntax, and that is CSS by the way, right? And so let no reserved keyword. I can never say let or let var is equal to something, because whenever there are certain keywords of a language, you need to respect them. You never use them as your own variable name. And then let dollar underscore dollar is a little bit confusing, even though it might be allowed, but it's confusing. So always start with letter. And they've not added one point. I want to add here. No spaces, please. Never a space. Rather, I'll keep on saying that over and over. When you have come in programming, you have jumped in programming, whenever you are naming something, variable, folder, function, no space, remember. Even function names also should have the same naming rules, right? It should be same naming rules. Okay. Now let's move forward. Constants versus variables. So when to use each? So anyhow, use const by default and use let when value needs to change. So again, const is something you will always use when you want that the value will never change. So you will always use that const. But if you want to use that or change the values, you will always use the let. Common issue, scope resolution and redeclaration. This is very important. I've talked about a little about that. Let's talk about that again. Look at that. Scope issues and redeclaration. So look at that. If true, let x is equal to 10. Remember, I've given you same example. You see this example? Because this x is defined over here. So x is not accessible over here. You know why? Because x has a block level scope. If someone asks you why we cannot use let variable defined with let outside of that block, because let has a block level scope. Does that make sense to everyone? Well, remember that the block level scope. And let's talk about this redeclaration. Let name is equal to John. Let name is equal to James. So whatever, whenever you have defined some variable with let, you cannot redefine them at all, right? You cannot redeclare them, redefine them. So the correct way maybe, again, the correct way is you can assign something over there, but you cannot redeclare. Make sense? You can change the value of the variable, but you cannot redeclare it once it is declared, right? Redeclaration is not allowed. So variables have to be followed above. Best practices. This is very important. And please listen to this carefully. Use meaningful names. Use const by default. By default, use const means, again, if you know that the values are not going to change, you use the const. Declare variables at the top of the scope. Usually try to declare variables at the very top. It's not a good habit to declare variables after a few lines, in the mid of the script, mid of the program. Yeah.
Can we use const for the global variables?
Yes. You can use const for the global scope as well. Rather, mostly we define const as a global one. Const pi, const, whatever, we define them. Yeah, we don't want to change them. Initialize when you are declaring var x or let x is equal to 10. Let x is equal to ln, whatever, right? Use consistent naming conventions, avoid global variables, keep variables scope to where they are needed. So again, these things, sometimes they say that avoid global variables. I'll tell you a very interesting corollary here. Again, another interview sort question, if you are listening to it carefully. JavaScript has a technical term called hoisting. It's called hoisting. If I forget to declare a variable and I use it directly, listen to that. JavaScript automatically declares at the very top of the global. Are you guys getting that one? For example, in my program, I write x is equal to 10. And I have not written down let x is equal to or var x is equal to. Make sense, everyone? So what JavaScript will do, it will just go to the top and it says, okay, the poor programmer has forgotten to declare the variable. I'll declare it myself. It won't be shown, but JavaScript will understand, okay, I know it's var or let, whatever, it's on the top. And by the way, most of the times it will be var on when it is hoisted. You know, now you know the difference between the let and, because if it defines it as a let, and if globally, even if it defines as a let, it might become globally accessible to everyone. You know what I mean? But anyhow, what actually it does, whenever you forget to define a variable, declare a variable, it will declare it by itself. And technically it is called hoisting. I'll talk about that, but in a little bit advanced time. So avoid global variables. That's also called variable leaking. If I use a variable, don't declare it. It's called variable leaking. We are leaking the variables. So keep variables to scope. Wherever you need the variables, you have to define them over there, on that particular scope. Okay, variable tips and tricks. Now this is very interesting. Template literal. Do you remember the F strings in Python? Have you used the F string? Where you used to string interpolate over there the variables? In JavaScript, the same thing is used as a template literal. And I'll tell you that first before showing that. See here, in JavaScript, the strings can be like that. I'll show you. So I'll comment everything, rest everything. I've commented out. Now look at that. In JavaScript, a string can be defined by three ways. So I can say name equal to John, and I can say let name1 is equal to, and now see here, I can use single quotation and I say, for example, Jane. The problem is, since I have my prettier, so prettier will now allow me to use this single quotation as the string. Do you guys know what I'm saying? As I hit save, look at that. It converts it to double quotation, even though there is a setting and I can go and say that allow me the single quotation. Visual Studio Code is very flexible. I have not done that setting. Are you guys getting that one? But remember, single quotation is also a string in JavaScript. Here comes the interesting one. I define one more. Age is equal to 20, something like that. Now see here, there is one called let name3 is equal to. And I'm using backticks. Do you know what is backticks? On your keyboard, before key one key, do you see a little tilted single quotations? It's called tilted single quotations. And these are very interesting one. Even though on the first hand, they are also the strings, but they have a very interesting usage over here. And I would like to discuss the same that F function used to do for you. Now see here, if I write console.log and I want to write something this, I say welcome, and I have to combine name, welcome John, for example, and I say you are age years old, for example. Do you see that statement? Do you know this statement is when there are lots of variables, lots of string concatenations? First of all, do you guys know what is happening? I'm saying concatenate with this string, with this variable name, with plus you are, then age, and then years old. Am I trying to concatenate three strings with three variables? Make sense, everyone? It's called concatenation. Are you guys getting that one? If you want to print or if you want to combine strings with numbers, it's called concatenation. Do you know this plus symbol? This is very important. If plus has numbers on both sides, it adds them as an arithmetic operation. But if plus has a string on either side of it, it makes concatenation. Are you guys getting that one? Concatenation. So look at that here. It will first of all take this string and take this variable. You might be thinking why there is a cross on name. I'll talk about why this is a cross on name. Variable and then plus you are, another string, plus age, plus years old. Now, do you know that if you have to make a complex statement, it will become rather very difficult to remember where the double quotation, where it's where double quotation, where plus. Sometimes you'll be using single quotations as well. So to solve that, as in Python, you have those F type of strings. Here we have called template literals, the first I talked about. Look at that, how I would write that by using template literal. I would write, first of all, backticks, same way as Vider, and I will just start writing the string. And wherever I need a variable, I would put curly bracket, like a dollar sign and curly brackets. String interpolation, remember everyone? And I'll just continue with this one like that. Look at that. Welcome, dollar name, you are, dollar age, years old. Do you think how easy it has become now to handle this string? You are just like writing a normal string and just interpolating the variables here. Do you guys see that? How I have interpolated the variable? If you want to interpolate a variable, you just write $sign and curly bracket and name of the variable. Is that interesting? Easy? As in the Python, you are just putting the variables in between and a string is basically. But remember, this will only be possible in the backticks. It's also called template literals. They are called what? Template literals or the backticks. And I will be using that a lot of times. So this backticks is also a string in JavaScript. So everything is a string in JavaScript. And look at that here. Now, template literals use backticks instead of double quotes or single quotes to define strings. Enable string interpolation with the syntax $expression. And interestingly, this curly bracket is just not about the variable name. They say it's an expression. Do you know what does that mean? What expression means? What is the expression, by the way? Question. What is an expression? Expression. X is equal to y plus 2. Is that an expression? X is equal to y plus 2. Is that an expression? Think about it. X is equal to y plus 2. Is that an expression? No. It's an equation. X is equal to y plus 2. What is the expression here? X is one expression, y plus 2 is one expression. Are you guys getting that one? Something that is evaluated and evaluated to a value is called an expression. 2 plus 2. Is that an expression or equation? 2 plus 2. I'm just saying 2 plus 2. It's an expression. It's an expression. 2 plus 2. If I say x plus 3. Expression, because x might have any value. X plus 3 is expression. Are you guys getting that one? And if I say y is equal to x plus 1, you will say no. It's two expressions. You remember that old math, left hand side and right hand side? Take the left hand side and we just wasted our life in proving it to the equal to the right hand side. Remember? Take left hand side, consider something and suppose something and put it to the right hand side. So that left hand side was one expression and right hand side was one other expression. Are you guys getting that one? If I ask you another question, like again, and this is a very important thing you need to understand before we move any further. Look at that. So if I say, for example, again, if I say, let x is equal to 10, x is equal to 10, and let y is equal to x plus 20, something like that. Now look at that. As I asked you, if I ask you as a whole, is this one expression? You will say no. If I ask what are the two expressions here? You will say there is one expression x and one expression 10. 10 is also an expression that has some value. Make sense? Here, if I ask you what is the expression, you will say x plus 20 is one expression and y is one expression. Make sense? Because y will have some value and x plus 20 will have some value. Is that making sense? Now, why expressions are important, and when they are talking about this one as expression box, look at that. If I just come here, now there are no variables, so I'll just remove that one and I say welcome, $sign, curly bracket, and I remove the backtick and the backticks. Now look at that. If I just come here and I can write 3 plus 4, 3 plus 5, whatever. If I write 3 plus 5, let's make it common. Look at that. So I can write anything that is an expression that can be evaluated to a value. You know what will be my output of course over here? If I run that, you see my output is welcome 8. Why? Because I have expression going on. And what is the other importance of expression? I'll tell you. You have seen that we have, you are familiar with that one and we'll discuss that more. You're familiar with if situation. Yeah, like, in the if, always here something is basically where whatever comes over here, age is greater than 18, for example. If I ask you, what is the expression over here? So what is the expression in this situation? 976, 77. What is the expression? What is the expression here? Age greater than 18. Is that a question being asked? Does it have a, yes, it's a question, if age greater than 18. So will it produce, either it will produce a true or either it will produce a false, depending upon the age. Does that make sense? So age greater than 18 is an expression that evaluates to either true or evaluates to either false. Is that making sense to you? In the same way, expressions can be used in between these brackets. So much so, for the practice purpose I'm giving you, because I'll give you some questions also today for the practice. So much so that if I have let ages is equal to something like this, right? And I come here and I say console.log, and I say the age on first index is, and what I'll do, I'll say $, curly brackets, and closing of curly brackets. I'll say ages of 0. Oh, okay. Are you guys getting that one? What mistake I've done? I've not used the backticks, by the way. Remember, it has to be backticks. I was thinking why this dollar is not coming like that. You know what I mean? So you see that this is an expression, ages of 0. Make sense, everyone? Ages of 0 is what? One expression. And ages of 0 will produce one age, like, whatever age. If I say age 0, it will produce the first age. The answer will be, of course, the answer will be 20, I think, if welcome 8 is not coming. The age of first index on first index is what? 20. So I can write age index or something over here as well. So it means that this is typically our backticks, and these are interpolation. This is called, when we put the dollar in between that, we say that it's string interpolation we are doing. String interpolation. Make sense? Now let's come back. Type conversion. This is very important and we'll do that a lot. The process of converting a value from one data type to the another. Sometimes you will get data in one form and you will have to convert it to other form. For example, I say that you have received the data 72 inches, for example, and I say it's the height of, for example, some whatever. So I'll say that convert it into, for example, or maybe just find out that what is this height in maybe centimeters, convert that in centimeters. So we'll say, okay, I have 72 inches. I'll try to extract out 72 from that, and then I'll apply a formula and I'll convert that into this. Are you guys getting that one? So you need to just do that. So now listen, the process of converting a value from one data type to the another can be explicit using methods like string, number, boolean. We have certain methods that we explicitly use to convert that. String, booleans, or numbers, we can use them. That if so these are conversion, and we'll do that conversion a lot. Don't worry, we'll just do that all. Default values, the logical OR operator can provide a feedback value if the left operand is false. Now here comes a very interesting thing, falsy. You see that? JavaScript has two interesting data types. They are called truthy and falsy. Truthy and falsy. Looks interesting, right? Weird enough. Truthy and falsy. True and false we have heard. What is this truthy and falsy? For the time being, right now, just remember, if X was a variable and you do not provide any value to X, X is falsy here. Are you guys getting that one? If there is a variable and you don't provide a value to it, you will say it is falsy here. And if you provide any value right now, understand, if you provide any value, you will say X is truthy over here. Are you guys getting that one?
Yes.
You're writing up, and you look at that. Look at that, they have just given an example. So let name is equal to Alice, let greeting is equal to hello, and Alice, they've just printed out by using a backticks. And over here, they're converting, let num str is equal to 1, 2, 3. If you convert to number, the 1, 2, 3 will come out from it. Remember, I told you that you can just take out 1, 2, 3, and it will become a number. Data type will change. Now look at that over here. Let username is equal to user input or anonymous. If user has given any input, store that into username. And if user has not given any input, if user input is truthy, the value should be user input. Or, do you guys know this OR operator? Logical ORing, logical ORand, or anonymous. If user has not given any value, in other words, this user input is falsy. If user input is falsy, store anonymous in that. Are you guys getting that one? If there is a value of user input, store it. If not, take anonymous. And what is that? You will say that user input is here falsy, so I'll store anonymous in it. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes.
So user input is a variable?
Yes. Yes, it's a variable that might have some value. User might give or might do not give input. If user gives input, you will say truthy and store that value. And if user does not give an input, you will say falsy. I'll take anonymous. Make sense? I'll take the anonymous, the next one, right? Let's move forward. Okay, so there we have a little bit exercises, variables, declare and use variables. So now let's do a little bit of exercise. Write JavaScript code snippet that declares 3 variables. One for your favorite color, let, one for your birth year const, and one for your current age var. Print a sentence to the console using these variables such as I love the color blue, I was born in 1995 and I'm 28 years old. Can you just, every one of you try that out, this question? Define three variables by using let, const, and var, and try to do that.
Output should be there.
Sorry, yeah, output should be this line. Like the variable that you have defined the color, you should come here, and year year of birth, whatever will come here, and the value should come here. So here you have to just use the backticks like the template literal to do that. Okay, what I'll do is that in your weeks folder, now I'll share this whole file, right? And we'll see that you will have this available on your folder. This will also be available, the recording of the lecture that I'm doing right now. This is a recording of lecture, and again, it will be available on our YouTube. So we'll just start next week, because this is also from this week, but I'll just start from numbers and operators next week. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's lecture and everyone is good with this. Like again, whatever we have discussed, hopefully everyone has understood that one. So again, we are gradually coming into some serious JavaScript programming. Next week, we'll have our class on Wednesday, right? So on Wednesday, we'll just start some functions and some very interesting things over here. So until then, it's have a very good weekend, everyone, and enjoy your day.
Shorthand to write console log.
CLG. Right, CLG and hit enter.
The channel merger.
Oh, okay, you are getting that one. You need to just Google that, and there is a way to just go and apply that one. So CLG is the shortcut to write console.log, but you need to set it up. Just go to ChatGPT and ask that. It will tell you. Right? You remember I told you that ChatGPT is good for these little things. Very nice. Yeah. Oh, if you say x is equal to 10. Because just const is nothing. It says const x equal to should be have a value. Right? And can you tell me quickly what is your name so that I can just check you? Oh, Krish, I have seen your request to come in the group as well, on that other section.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'll just check that. Don't worry about your attendance right now. I'll check that. So if your name is here or there, I'm not worried about it. Okay. But yes, you will be worried when the result will be there and you see that.